What are you going to do about the neo-Nazis?
What I'm doing is I'm taking my community. I'm taking my community inside.
Why the fuck you come here? You don't fucking live here.
That's all. I wanted to invite you to say something for Black Lives Matter.
White Mob, Antifa versus Candace Owens, Black Students, and Proud Boys, April 15th, 2019, at University of Pennsylvania. This is the video version of this article, the webpage version you see here, which has links to the tweets and videos and so on featured in this video. So see the link below for that, and see the link to our BitChute channel, which you must subscribe to make sure that you see our future videos, because YouTube is phasing out channels like ours by doing things like not notifying you of our new videos, erasing your likes, giving us channel strikes, and 3 strikes, by the way, in a 90-day period results in the deletion of our YouTube channel. So again, subscribe to us on BitChute. You may have seen our video or read our article titled Urgent: Antifa Plans to Attack Candace Owens Again on April 15th at the University of Pennsylvania, in which we explain that Antifa planned to attack Candace Owens and shut down her speaking engagement at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia on April 15th as part of Turning Point USA's Campus Clash Tour, co-hosted by the College Republicans. We wondered if the event was real because it was not publicly listed, either because it was not open to the general public or because it was never planned in the first place. Well, it seems that it was planned, it was real, and it happened, and Antifa failed to shut it down. In the morning of the day of the event, Candace tweeted this: "Dear Antifa, the year is not 1960 and I am not Ruby Bridges. Your threats of violence do not scare me. I will be walking through the front door of UPenn today with my head held high. You racist white Democrats didn't win back then, and you won't win now." And she includes a link to an article that we went over in the last video, so let's move on. Ruby Bridges is the little girl in this iconic photo of November 14th, 1960, which was the first day of the first grade for her, and the first day of a court-ordered desegregation of schools in New Orleans to comply with the Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court ruling in 1954, in which racial segregation of public schools was declared unconstitutional. The separate but equal doctrine was shut down, and notice that the far leftists now want to bring back the separate but unequal, really. They want to segregate people racially, and they want to have everybody above a certain race. Anyway, the Supreme Court ruling was not respected in all times and all places right away. I mean, it took years. Legal battles ensued. In 1960, a federal order was issued ordering the gradual desegregation of New Orleans schools. This is why November 14th, 1960, Ruby, protected from Antifa, protected from a mob by federal marshals, and 3 other black students also started the first grade in New Orleans, but in other schools.
The painting depicts my walk into William Frantz School, integrating the public school systems in 1960. The girl in that painting at 6 years old knew absolutely nothing about racism. I was going to school that day.
White students withdrew from the school, and Ruby and her teacher were the only 2 present in her classroom. So that's what Candace was referring to there. But shortly before 7 p.m. on the day of the event, April 15th, Candace tweeted this: "Antifa is here. Enjoy this video of the neo-KKK stalking and harassing me as I try to invite a group of peaceful black students into my event at UPenn. The Democrats' domestic terrorist arm strike again. Too bad we will never back down. We will be free. #Blexit." This was liked and retweeted by tens of thousands of people, and the video was seen by 1.61 million people the last time that I looked.
What is Turning Point planning to do to address the neo-Nazis?
how you doing? I don't know. I just asked everybody that was black and disagreed not to subscribe to UKKK. This is the
Thank you. KKK, what are you going to do about the neo-Nazis?
What I'm doing is I'm taking my community inside.
So Turning Point USA is being actively infiltrated by neo-Nazis.
This was retweeted by our colleague at Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk, with tens of thousands of more likes and retweets. And he wrote, "Wow, leftist thugs inspired by Democrat leaders like Eric Holder and Maxine Waters harass Candace Owens in the streets as she calmly tries to enter UPenn to give a speech. This is the face of the Democrat Party. Despicable and evil." Retweet. By the way, if you don't know, Maxine Waters has called for people to harass and chase people out of restaurants and etc.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Unicorn Riot, which is an Antifa media outlet, tweeted this. Far-right campus group Turning Point USA's director Candace Owens just showed up at UPenn campus in Philadelphia. She ignored our questions about whether Turning Point USA plans to address ongoing neo-Nazi infiltration and recruitment among their membership. Let's have a look at their video.
Do you have any plans to address the neo-Nazis that keep joining your group? Candace, I was just hoping to get your comment about the neo-Nazis that keep infiltrating your group. Like, what does Turning Point plan to do to address the neo-Nazis that keep infiltrating your organization? I'm just trying to ask about the Nazis that keep joining Turning Point. I'm going to try to keep a good distance, sir.
They also tweeted this. A group of Proud Boys and others have shown up and started a heckling match with anti-fascists opposing Candace Owens and Turning Point USA at UPenn in Philadelphia. They call themselves anti-fascists. Why not just come out and admit you're like the neo-KKK, basically, yeah,
You fucking live here! What the fuck are you doing here? Oh yeah, your job has such a good fucking legal record. Like, I don't put that much stock in fucking legal records, but that's not your bragging point, you jackasses. But why the fuck you come here? You don't fucking live here!
Now, I don't know if those were Proud Boys. One can't trust what Antifa says, not to say that they're always wrong, because, you know, even a stop clock is right twice a day. So, anyway, who knows? Maybe they were just concerned students or whatever. Normally I would ask some Proud Boys about this, but that would require me to use Facebook. The Proud Boys, by the way, have largely been kicked off Twitter due to Twitter's Orwellian bias. But I am, as usual, suspended from Facebook, this time for telling a censor-loving British person that Brits like him lack the balls to stand up to their Orwellian government, as you may have seen in our video about that. Unicorn Riot also tweets, "We were able to briefly interview Candace Owens. When she appeared at UPenn in Philly today, Owens didn't respond to a question about her recent dubious congressional testimony and called it a weird question when we asked about being cited in the New Zealand mosque shooters manifesto." If you don't know, Candace Owens was mentioned in the manifesto, or at least the alleged manifesto of the, the terrorists who shot up those mosques in New Zealand. And, the answer is obvious. If you read the manifesto, it's just a way for him to rile up people that are so stupid, like Unicorn Riot, that they would get riled up from things like that. Let's see that video.
Candace, do you stand behind your comments that the Southern strategy is not a real thing?
Why don't you come in and ask me? We're going to have it's an open question.
Okay, well, they let me in. I'd love to come in.
Yeah.
Who do I talk to about that?
Are you not a part of UPenn?
No, I'm with Unicorn Riot. We're an independent media organization.
Hello, is that a good picture?
I watched you say in Congress that the Southern strategy isn't a real thing, and I was just wondering if you had, factually substantiated. Because it seems like the Southern strategy is a real thing, and you just lied to Congress.
Oh, you just mind the walking path?
So how do you feel about the...
Is that Black Lives Matter?
How do you feel about the New Zealand shooter citing you in his manifesto?
Hey! Hey, how you doing?
How do you feel about the guy who murdered all those people in the mosque citing you?
How could, why? What a weird question to ask me. I don't know.
Well, so why do you think, even if, like, I'm not saying you radicalized him, but why do you think he said you radicalized
I've never
him?
been to New Zealand. I don't know him, so I can't answer that.
I wanted to invite you to check out for Black Lives Matter.
You may remember in the last video this tweet by an Antifa account, Antifash Gordon. Philly want to come out and shut down Turning Point USA at UPenn on Monday. Details via this link, and then they link to a Facebook page about the event. Well, look what we have here. I went to look at this, and I see that our fellow content creator Tiberius Maximus responded to that tweet with this. I'll be there, but I'll be protecting free speech rather than trying to shut down people of color and others because their opinions don't happen to line up with yours. You should actually be called Fash Racist Gordon. Yeah, you go, Gary. By the way, I have asked Tiberius Maximus if he actually made it there and what happened, what he experienced, but he has not answered me so far. So let's move on to his next tweet, or his next response, which is this, which is a screenshot from one of his videos. And by the way, you should really check out his videos. Not just the ones that Tabby and I do guest voice appearances in, but just all of them. They're just amazing. See the link below for that. At the time that I record this narration, which is early afternoon, April 16th, the Antifa Twitter accounts featured in the last video about this, you know, the ones that were talking about shutting down Candace, have not mentioned anything about their little protest. This includes fellow worker Gritty, Antifash Gordon, the one that we just saw, and Antifa Philadelphia, the one with the handle at Philly Antifa, not the Antifa Philadelphia Twitter account with the handle at Antifa Philly. If that's confusing to you, see our last video about this. It's Going Down, who serves as Antifa's Joseph Goebbels, you know, their mini-true, their Orwellian Ministry of Truth, in other words, their Minister of Propaganda, also has not tweeted about this event. But look at this tweet here from a few days before the event. And while I read this, look who loved it. Candace Owens is coming to Penn next week. 3 likes and I will attempt to throw an overripe tomato at her. Notice they received 7 likes, but as far as I could tell, there were no tomatoes thrown. Now look at this response to that tweet. Incitement to violence is a felony. What say you? Jack, Twitter, Twitter support, and Twitter help. So you notice what he's doing there. He's tagging Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, Twitter itself, Twitter support, and Twitter help. Will they do anything about this tweet? Now, I'm not saying they should delete the tweet or anything like that because I'm against censorship. Even if a company has their private right to do so, I still don't think they should do it. But the point here is that this is yet another case of Twitter's bias because, if you don't know, they censor tweets that challenge the far left like crazy. Even if those tweets are actually coming from other left-wingers, they're just considered far right-wingers because they're not far left. And this has been demonstrated ad nauseum. There's just no question about that. And if you want to see proof of it, and you want to see, say, the CEO of Twitter and his lackey being challenged to their faces about this, the best thing you could see is the episode of the Joe Rogan show, which features they and Tim Pool, where he brings out the facts and counters their bullshit with actual facts.
So then this, you know, to the next question pertaining to bias, you have the issue of Antifa versus the Proud Boys and Patriot Prayer. And Twitter permanently excised anyone associated with the Proud Boys, Antifa accounts who have broken the rules repeatedly, branded known cells that have been involved in violence, all still active.
Awkward. Yeah.
Is there a reason?
Well, with the Proud Boys, what we were able to do was actually look at documentation and announcements that, you know, the leaders of that organization had made and their use of violence in the real world. So that was what we were focused on. And subsequent to our decision, I believe the FBI also designated them.
That's not true.
Bullshit!
It's not true?
That's not true.
No.
In our video titled The FBI Did Not Classify Proud Boys as an Extremist Group, we explain how that rumor started. It seems that the Clark County Sheriff's Office in Vancouver, Washington came up with that, or at least they believe someone else saying that, as an excuse for why they fired Deputy Sheriff Erin Wiley, who was a Proud Boys girl. Either they just made it up or they were just passing on something that is not true. But the FBI did come out and say, nope, that is not true. And, you know, it's too bad because a lot of the media reported that the FBI did say that, and most of them did not retract it when the FBI clarified. For more details on that, see our video. The FBI did not classify the Proud Boys as an extremist group by scrolling down, seeing the description, and clicking the link. Moving on. The Daily Pennsylvania reported on this with this article, which I'm not going to say is entirely accurate or honest, I just don't know, but they write, minutes before the event, leftists and anti-fascist protesters voiced their disapproval of Owens' presence. About 20 anti-fascist protesters from Philadelphia Antifa wore ski masks and bandanas and gathered on the college green shouting "Fuck Candace Owens" and "Fuck the police." Page protesters also gathered in a silent demonstration against Owens inside College Hall. And if you don't know, Page is the Penn Association for Gender Equality, and you can see their Facebook post about this here. If you want to read all of that, again, see the link below to the webpage version of this video, and I included all that. But let's move on. The Daily Pennsylvanian continues. UMC chair and college sophomore Kevin Zhao said the 6B, Penn's 6 main minority coalition groups, met prior to Monday's event to discuss the response and to denounce Owens. Quote, "We all know what she's been doing around here. A lot of mocking, a lot of racist statements saying racism doesn't exist, mocking sexual assault victims," unquote, Zhao said. Quote, "UMC was in full support of the protest," unquote. College freshman Kate Silva, who silently protested against Owens inside College Hall, said Owens approached her and other protesters while she was inside. Silva said while Owens was quote-unquote polite in her interactions with them, she disputed their criticisms of her. Quote, "She was coming over and looking at a lot of the posters and then asking students who were holding posters to give her examples of when she had said things or done things," unquote, Silva said. At the event, Owens sharply attacked the #MeToo movement and questioned why Black Americans would be supportive of the anti-sexual assault campaign. Well, it's not actually anti-sexual assault. It's really just an accusing mob. It's a mob going around accusing people and expecting or demanding that people believe them when they accuse. We do not just believe mobs who accuse people. We believe in fair trials with a jury of our peers. Anyway, the article continues, quote, "The concept that we should just believe women is exactly what got my ancestors lynched," unquote, Owens said. Quote, "We've learned our lesson the hard way with that," unquote. Here. See, that's why you can't just believe mobs. I mean, they will... Look, what do you want to do? Go around lynching people because you want to lynch people and just expect people to believe you? You can't just believe people who accuse. A lot of people fucking lie, okay? Yes, a lot of these #MeToo people are just liars. The article continues, Owens also promoted the Blexit movement, a campaign she launched that encourages Black Americans and other minorities to leave the Democratic Party. From 1972 to 2016, the Democratic presidential candidate received an average of 87% of the black vote, 538 reported. Further down they report, the statesman, president, and college junior Sidney Gwine, if I'm saying that correctly, wrote in an email to the Daily Pennsylvanian that Owens' speech was a success and that Penn resources were used productively by hosting the controversial speaker. Quote, "We felt that bringing her to campus would benefit the Penn community as she presents a viewpoint that is not well represented on campus," unquote, Gwine said. Quote, "The Antifa, quote-unquote, protesters have pretty much no impact on the event. Our report on their pre-event threats really boosted our website's daily views, though, so they actually ended up helping us in a way," unquote. Yes, the Streisand effect. The article concludes, college Republicans communications director and Wharton freshman Corey Paredes, I'm probably not saying that correctly, declined to comment on the event and the protests. In the webpage version of this video, I've included a number of articles about this that have come out since our last video about this, and if I find more information or more videos or, Tiberius Maximus gets back to me about this, I'll put it in the webpage version of this video. Alright everyone, please like and comment, and most importantly, subscribe to us on BitChute because, this may be our last YouTube video. You just never know. That axe is always hanging, ready to fall. Peace for the peaceful, tough love, equality of opportunity, not of outcome, and liberty for those who don't violate the rights of others. Thanks for watching.